Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Bolt Banter. It's your boy Curtis Gefford. I'm here with Kendrick. Kendrick, how's it going, my dude?
What's up, San Diego? We got a
Yeah,
Chargers win, man. Can you believe it? 2-2.
two and
We're on
two.
the rise. What do we talk about here? We're working on the bounce back. We're not we're
Game-winning
not
field goal.
we're not there yet, but it's like we've pulled back the slingshot. We set it up in place. We're gonna set it down for a minute. We're gonna come back around after that bye week. Like it's
We're
all it's
coming
all
back.
falling into place. I like it.
Yep. And I was at the game. I was stoked to go, but it was like really fun. Like the crowd was super into it on the defensive side, and I just gotta like applaud like San Diego fans for like showing up ready to support their team and being that X factor and kind of give them support to win this game. All right, so jumping into this, before we jump into the full recap of the game, there was an article released today talking about the stadium update and how there may not be a vote on where a team may be until January. Kendrick, what does this mean for the Chargers?
Yeah, so this was coming out like late, like very close, like 2 hours ago. If we had been
Yep.
recording this in the afternoon rather than this evening, we wouldn't be able to talk about this till Friday. But they're gonna have a meeting later this week. They're gonna basically sit down. They're gonna decide what the plan means. What it means right now is that there's not gonna be an LA team next year. I think that's exactly what it means. And I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna hash out who's the favorites here, who's people we're working with, and the best thing we can hope for here is that these owners say this is going to be a Rams, this is going to be a Raiders race. That's how this is going to be. The Chargers are out of it, so that hopefully by January they can approve the city plan, and then we can get a new stadium built by next fall. By the time the season's over, that's the best case scenario that I'm seeing here. Like everyone is really pushing for the Rams here. That's the talk I've seen on Twitter. A lot of guys. I
Mhm.
actually got this from Steve Mason from ESPN LA. He was the guy that I heard this from, and he's all for the Rams. So I'm really, really excited for this meeting. I think it's actually going to mean a lot because they're actually going to sit down. They're going to formulate a plan because this LA team's not happening next year. So they need to sit down. They need to really knock this down so they can figure out what to do. Hopefully, they just say, "Hey, the Rams are fronting this forward. They have a plan for Inglewood, and then the Chargers can talk to San Diego. The Raiders can talk to Oakland, and then we're not even going to worry about it."
Yep. I think you're right too. I think they're going to kind of lay down the blueprint of what the NFL wants, not what each individual city or team wants. They're going to give
It,
some guidelines and say, "Hey, this is where we want NFL going."
It's good because we had just talked about how the Carolina Panthers owner the other day, just on base speculation, was saying he thought the Chargers were going to be the best fit because of how the revenue split would work if the Rams were here. And like he was already talking about that some owners agreed with him. So hopefully he's not in a majority of it, or because of the way the media spun it around, maybe he's come around to a different way of thinking. Like it's going to be really interesting because I'm hoping that we get to hear what the views are, the owners are, how they're all feeling about this LA move, and which team they really want there. Because we're going to know, do they want the Chargers? Do they want the Rams? Do they want the Raiders? We're going to know by this week. And that's a really good feeling.
I think it's going to be the Rams, man. I felt strongly about that from the beginning, and it makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I want it to be the Rams. Like I really think that would be
Yep.
cool because they were the last team to leave LA. Like having just going down California and having the Raiders and 49ers up there, come down to the Rams, come down to the Chargers, like that's so cool. And I
Yeah.
told people like when they build the bullet train here and they can have bullet train Sundays where we start with the Raiders 49ers game at in the morning and then you come down to San Diego in the afternoon and then you shoot back up to LA at night, like how awesome would that be? That'd
That'd be
be an
pretty
awesome
cool.
day of football and that bullet train will just let you go back and forth.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yep. So that's an update on what's going on with stadium talk. And so I guess we'll just wait till then, unless anything else is announced before then, but I don't think it will be. All right, so back to this game. Cleveland Browns at Qualcomm. For the game, Browns announced Joe Hayden's not going to play their corner. Um, and then it's just a game that is just kind of neck and neck. Chargers had their first lead since like the end of the fourth quarter against the Lions. Like they had a lot of good things going for them. And just to kind of quickly highlight the game, There are a lot of big plays that were executed by the Chargers offense when we needed it most. Rivers had a great game, and he played very smart and efficiently. But also, we kept the Browns in it and barely pulled through and won by 3. So it's a quick little review. Kendrick, let's go through these positives. And Kendrick and I already have some positives and negatives laid out of this game. But if we think of any more, we'll add on as well. All right, so far we have Melvin Ingram and Jerry Atachu with 2 sacks. Our D-line was getting in there, man. They're tearing it up. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, we've been talking about this for a while. Like, these edge rushers are the guys that we need coming in and getting the sacks. Like, Atauchu was feeling it. Ingram was feeling it. We had, on one sack, we had Weddle come in on a little stunt blitz. Ingram followed it up, so they get credited with half a sack each. Like, it was awesome to see. And, like, Melvin was flying on some of those big runs. We saw him going. You saw Perryman get in with a huge tackle that gifts all over the internet, smashing Duke Johnson. But while we're on the defense, and we're talking about the sacks and all that, it comes back down to weak tackling. I thought Monte Teo really stepped up in this game with 13 solo tackles, but this game, they made Duke Johnson look like he was the second coming of Adrian Peterson in this game. He had 85 receiving yards and a touchdown. He had 31 yards rushing, over 115 yards for a rookie, Duke Johnson, that no one even knows about. It was really sad to see, and he's a running back coming out of the backfield. We missed a lot of tackles here, and as you look down the tackle chart, our starting D line, our 3 guys, Kendall Reyes with 5 tackles, Corey Liuget with 3 tackles. It's not very good from our front line. It's not very good from our secondary. We had Patrick Robinson with 2. We're not getting them on the front end, and we're not getting them on the secondary. Our good linebackers are coming up big, but we need our guys to be getting up there and getting them. We need all our guys being active. We can't. Next week, who do we have? We have Le'Veon Bell on Monday Night Football. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this guy?
Yeah, we gotta be ready.
You saw this guy against the Ravens last Thursday go from the left side of the field to the right because the Ravens couldn't wrap him up. Are you kidding me right now? We can't wrap up Duke Johnson? We've always talked about how, my personal challenge to them is the sack challenge. I had 3 sacks on this game. The defense goes out and gets 5. That's beautiful. Now let's go and get more tackles. Let's wrap up on the running back. We really hyped up Duke Johnson in this game to the point that a lot of people love him. And he's talented. Yeah, he's a talented running back, but he's not as good as the stats are lying. The numbers are lying because we're a poor tackling team.
Yep, that's our Achilles heel, and we need to improve on that. Otherwise, we're going to have a rough season. And let's see. Also, we have Rivers having a great game. He played, like I said, he played very well. He had great protection, I feel, the whole game. It seemed like a night and day difference from the last game. He had time to throw, and then most importantly, he had no interceptions. Nothing.
Yeah, it was crazy. We had this makeshift O-line. These guys played desperate, and they ran it well. Rivers talked about how Trevor Robinson, he ran a great game at center. He was almost perfect at center. And the guys we had in there, man, they played very well. They played very well. These guys in there, this makeshift O-line that we had,
and there was really good. There's a couple boo-boos, but I mean, with the makeshift O-line, they did extremely well compared to how we had it the week before. And there was one play I was very disappointed at for Gordon where it was basically a draw, and then Gordon was going in to chip someone or block someone. He completely missed the guy, and Rivers had the guy on him before he could turn around and throw it. And it was just a goof play, but I was really bummed on Gordon's part.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy, too, how well they were blocking at the second level to get Woodhead going in that drive. Yep. Woodhead broke off a 23-yard run to set up that field goal at the end. That was crazy. We were creating holes. Man, when our line's healthy and knowing that we have some second guys up there, we got some depth out there on the O-line, it's a good sign. I thought it was well, but it's also the Browns rush. The Browns rush isn't very good, but
yeah, at the beginning, Gordon was averaging 5 or 6 yards a carry, and then they kind of just stopped running him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I have an interesting stat about Melvin Gordon that I found on the internet. Melvin Gordon is tied for the league in most 20-plus yard rushes. He's tied with Adrian Peterson, Matt Forte, and then Todd Gurley after this weekend. So Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley, the 2 first-round running backs in the NFL, tied with Adrian Peterson and Matt Forte, who I'd say are the top 5 running backs in the NFL. So very interesting, this younger generation.
Yep.
And, like, you talked about how Phillip Rivers was, like, the man in this game. You know, he's the one who backpacked us. He put it on the back, like, the team's around him. And a lot of people are complaining about how we don't run Melvin Gordon enough. We spent a first-round pick on this guy. Why aren't we running it around him? And they talked about it on the radio as I was coming home from work. Like, this team is Phillip Rivers' team. This isn't Melvin Gordon's team. Like, Todd Gurley's out there. He's running 137 yards a game because the team's built around Todd Gurley. The team's not built around Melvin Gordon. Our team's built around passing. We're late in the game. Of course, we're going to have Woodhead in there. We wouldn't have Melvin Gordon running the ball. Like, his time is coming, but we haven't had that situation yet. And it's going to be a while before we have a situation like that. Maybe the Raiders, maybe the Bears, but we're not going to have it against Pittsburgh. I guarantee you that. We're not going to have it against the Packers. I definitely guarantee you that. So Melvin Gordon's time is coming. His time's coming where we can feel confident in it. But right now, we're in these close games. We're in these bang-bang games. Let Phillip Rivers backpack the team and do his thing.
Yep, and we thought it would be his breakout game. I thought it could have been if they ran him more, but Rivers knows what's going on, and he made great team decisions. He didn't make a bad throw, I feel. But leaning towards negatives, we were talking about tackling, dude. They got to work on tackling so much. It is so frustrating to watch this team tackle.
So frustrating.
So frustrating. There's one play, I forget when it was. I think it was second half. I think his name is Benjamin on the Browns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis Benjamin, I think.
Travis Benjamin.
It was either him or their running back, but he caught a pass, went towards the outside, and kind of just hid behind someone, and like people just didn't see, like Weddle didn't see him, and like people just were not tackling him. It was the most frustrating thing. Like there are many breakout runs after the catch and just runs in general where I was like, guys, they're not tackling. They'll hit him, or they'll kind of just like mosey around him, or not. They won't hit him hard.
They're not wrapping up, but they're not wrapping up and hitting. They're not getting both together.
Yep. Yeah, so they really need to improve on that. But talking about negatives, I don't like how our defense is giving up a lot of yards every game and points. I mean, this game was only a 3-point victory, and that was at the end, and Lambeau missed the first one.
We got lucky. We got really lucky that the Browns guy jumped over offsides.
Really lucky. And besides that, we kept them in the game. Like there are a couple times where we didn't capitalize on every opportunity that we had.
Dude, the reason they came back in this game was a total fluke catch where he was over.
Crazy.
What was it? Patrick Robinson. He probably caught it over like some third string corner because we didn't have Verrett out there. We didn't have Flowers out there. Like they challenged that play. They get the ball on the 2-yard line, and then the touchdown goes to a back end tight end coming off a play action because our linebacker wasn't there with him, and then they get the 2-point conversion because he's up the seam off Donald Butler because Donald Butler can't cover anything. Like.
Yep. They knew that matchup was a win. They targeted whoever Butler had all the time. All the time. They favored that matchup if Butler was on anyone. Time and time again.
So real quickly, fantasy football. The Lions and the Seahawks are playing right now. I'm losing by 2 points. I have Calvin Johnson. He may or may not have just scored a touchdown. This is incredible. I'll keep you updated.
Are you winning now?
I don't know. I'm waiting because it looked like he just fumbled, but he crossed the goal line, so I'm hoping he just scored a touchdown.
Okay.
This is riveting. So our podcast listeners are just going to be like, all right.
Yeah. Well, dude, I still don't know if Browns are legit, and I don't know if our defense is legit from this game. So this game made me question our defense a lot. And the saddest part is there were times they succeeded and shut down the Browns. There were times they didn't, being that they were kept in the game. They were competing till the end, really. But the crowd was so into it. It was kind of disappointing to see such a close game. I'm not trying to sound like a fair weather fan, but I'm just saying in general, the crowd was in it, and people even acknowledged the crowd after the game, like Keenan and Weddle, some other people. What's it looking like?
Calvin Johnson just fumbled on the 1 yard line.
There you go.
Cam Chancellor just came out of his hold up with the Seattle Seahawks and got Calvin Johnson to fumble on the 1 yard line. And I'm pretty sure I just lost my fantasy football game.
Hey, it's okay.
Incredible. Yeah. Ah, man, it's too funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, these injuries too that happened during the game. Stevie Johnson came off the field, and I was watching as it happened. Came off the field. He kept grabbing his back leg, like his hamstring, or I thought he had a cramp, and I was just, come on. I kept on thinking, come on, hopefully it's just a cramp, because it was like kind of cold that day. The coldest day we've seen probably in a while with rain and everything. So I thought maybe he cramped up. And then he was sitting down for a while, and then people were all around him, and then he left. Or he had something checked out, and I was like, dang, dude, that's not good, because we really need him. Really need him.
Yeah,
and then
Floyd goes
left
down too.
Yeah. I don't know. There's one play where it was across in the middle of the field, around the 50, caught a ball and got hit by a couple guys, and he was kind of slow to get up, but I thought he was just like winded. But that might have been the play where excuse me, he suffered a concussion like symptom, or may have gotten hit in the head. But taking out two of our big wide receivers is not what we needed right after losing pretty much our O-line the game before.
Yeah, and like,
no bueno.
You got to give it to Dontrell Inman coming up with 83 receiving yards. That's why he's on this team. And if Stevie Johnson and Malcolm Floyd aren't ready to go, we're going to have Gates back for the next game. Gates, he's going to make his return. But a lot of people talk about Tyrell Williams too, that they really like this kid. They like this kid in the preseason. I like this kid in the preseason. So Maybe we see him come up off the practice squad. We see him come up. We'll see how they're feeling.
I'm not worried. Philip has shown time and time again, no matter who's catching the ball, he can make it happen. So as long as there's someone out there, he'll get it done. And speaking of transactions, our good friend Donald Brown left the Chargers this week to make room for O-line. And as of today, he was re-signed to your San Diego Chargers.
It was like
trolls the entire Chargers fan base.
It was like a waiver wire move in fantasy football. I was like, hey, I dropped this guy to pick up a guy. Nah, JK, we're good. I'm gonna pick him back up. Like,
the best part is
do we save money now?
Less than a week. I don't know.
He was gone for like 2 days.
Yeah.
Are we still paying him the $3 million that we're gonna pay him? Like, is that what's happening?
I don't think so. I hope not.
I'm so confused by this. The best part is Kevin Asa, Union Tribune. He tweets, so is Donald Brown going to play wide receiver at corner now? Like, is that how this works?
So funny.
How does this work?
He's playing O-line. That's what's going on.
Oh, he's a pulling guard now.
Yeah, he's O-line.
Crazy. I can't believe that he's back. I couldn't believe my feed today. Like on, what was it, Friday? I was like, yes, finally, Donald Brown's gone. We got Ola in there, a good pulling guard. And then today they're like, no, we don't need Ola. We got Donald Brown. Like, pardon? What? What just happened?
Did you just recall your decision? What? The moment they basically got rid of Donald Brown, I texted you because I was so happy. And Twitter blew up.
Yeah, we were all singing praises from the heavens. Hallelujah. How long have we been saying this?
And now he's back. We win against the Browns 2-2, and we bring him back. Why, I don't know. But the conspiracy theories began.
Nuts. I don't even understand. Like, could we release him and go re-sign a free agent wide receiver? I'd rather have Randy Moss than Donald Brown. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you right now.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens? I'd rather have Terrell Owens than Donald Brown. He'll sign for less than $3 million. I guarantee you that.
He will. All right. Well, this Browns game was kind of a must win. Lambeau misses his field goal. And honestly, being there in that moment, and especially people watching too, he misses the field goal. Late at the end, the flag comes in, and then we get to re-kick. But I thought we were going into overtime, and I was very upset. Very upset.
What was that like? Was it just like silence? Like everyone was like, "What?
Well, the
What
worst
just
part
happened?"
is,
Were y'all just sitting there?
from where I was sitting, you can't see if the ball, when you're sitting, I was at the 50 looking just straight at the field.
Yeah,
You can't see
I
if the
saw your
ball goes in or
Snapchat.
if it's
Oh,
out.
you can't. You didn't see if it was in or out. You could only see the refs saying yes or
So
no.
I was waiting for the ref, and he said it was no good. And I thought it was in. I was like, yeah, because it looked like it was in, and everyone was like pumped up. And then it just went silent. And I was freaking out, and everyone was very like, boo, like freaking out when there were flags. And then everyone started getting quiet and like hush, hush. And then they're like, flag on the field. I think it was offside. I think it was offsides. And I was like, no way. I thought we were going to overtime, and I was very upset. And then he made the next one. I was like, dude, did we make the right decision? I don't know if we did.
He made it. I'm just gonna say this right now. There's a lot of worse kickers out there. If you watched football yesterday, there's
There
a lot
is.
worse kickers than Josh Lambo.
There is.
All right.
There is.
Do you know who's kicking for the Chiefs right now? This guy who made seven field goals. I didn't even know they had a new kicker.
Yeah, I saw he had like 20 something points on fantasy.
His name's like Tyrone Scabo or something like that. Who knew that they had a new kicker? Like, it's a crazy time for kickers right now.
Not me.
Meanwhile, Nick Novak in Houston made 2 field goals and an extra point. Shout out to my boy.
We miss you.
I see you.
Maybe that's what it is. Conspiracy theory has started. Donald Brown is the new kicker for the San Diego Chargers.
Oh my goodness, that's what he's been doing. Amazing.
Amazing.
He went and played a game on Saturday for the MLS, and then he came here, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you can kick now! Awesome!"
Competition. Yeah,
Donald Brown is the new starting guard for the team.
We'll see where that goes. All right. Well, rolling into this next week of football, we're playing ball on Monday night in San Diego. It's a Monday Night Football. It's Steelers, and Antonio Gates is back when we might be missing Johnson, possibly Floyd, depending on how bad their injuries are.
We might be missing Flowers and Verrett too.
Yep.
We don't even know. Antonio Brown is coming to town, the best receiver in the NFL.
And Bell, bro. Bell's here too.
Hey, man. Hey, Mike Vick, though. Mike Vick.
Mm-hmm.
Have faith. It looks good for us.
Someone told me that he was quoted saying he feels he's running the fastest he has ever in his career.
Okay. Madden 04, Michael Vick would argue with him.
Yep.
Just saying.
Pre-dogfighting, Vic would argue differently.
Yeah. Anyway. I gotta say real quickly on here. So I write about video games for the site GamingSauce.com, and we're writing a piece right now collectively as a staff called Best Weapons in a Video Game. My best weapon in a video game I'm writing about is Michael Vick from Madden 04 because he's the best football weapon ever in a Madden game. And in Madden, NFL 2K, whatever, Tecmo Bowls, Bo Jackson, all that, Mike Vick, Madden 04 was dope. So if you can keep your eyes tuned in for that because, sports, football.
Sports, football.
Mike Vick.
Fun. Mike Vick.
But going back to this Monday night game, like, are you prepared for when Phillip Rivers throws it to Gates like 5 times in this game and John Gruden just breaks it down for us? Yo, you're gonna see Michael Vick or not? No. Yeah, you're gonna see Phillip Rivers coming up the seam to Antonio Gates. Look at him. He sees him right over the seam right there. He hits him perfectly. Look at these two. Have you ever seen a match like that? It's like when you're in the grocery store and you see 2 oranges and you look at them, you're like, these are perfect. This is how I see Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates. Like, these are the things John Gruden's going to say about this team, and he loves Phillip Rivers. Do you remember all those years ago when we thought John Gruden was going to be the head coach of this team? Because he was just like, oh, Phillip Rivers. Like, John Gruden just sits there in bed at night. He watches film of Phillip Rivers, and he's like,
Phillip Rivers.
Beautiful. I'd be able to win a championship with this, but
I think Monday night is going to be like a romantic movie where the guy comes back from war And the girl is so happy to see him. And what will happen is them doing what Gates and Rivers are going to be doing, which is going nuts.
Touchdowns
like,
and
towards each
throws.
other for a hug, like slow motion. But instead, it's like going the opposite direction. They're going out for a pass, That's my
He
comparison.
throws the football and it reaches out like this, and then it encloses right when it hits Gates' hands.
It's like a hug. They've been apart for so long, and now they get to
Monday Night Football, the Rivers and Gates telenovela, the reunite.
telenovela coming your way. All right, that was kind of ridiculous for me to say, but I thought it was funny. Anyway, all right. Well,
what'd be
that's all I
great
have to
though?
say.
Real quickly. What if they go all Patriots on us and they go FU mode to the NFL because Gates was suspended for like nothing because he had like extra vitamins? That's what you got suspended for. Like, what if he was just like, game plan? We're gonna stick it down the seam. We're gonna hit Gates right over the safety. We know the Steelers are weak, man. The Ravens shredded them with their tight ends. Like, I can't wait. Do you remember what Gronk did to the Steelers week 1? Like, imagine what Gates could do.
Or if they want Gordon, it's destroy them too.
Do it all, man. Gates, Gordon, Gates coming up on a block for Gordon as he block. Oh my gosh, Melvin Gordon gets his first touchdown of the season of his career because Gates pancakes the guy. Oh man,
I'm down.
think about it. The storylines.
Storylines. All right, well, that's all I have to recap this Cleveland game. We hope our team gets better as this season goes along. And we'll see what Donald Brown is doing for us. But that's all I have to say about this game. Steelers are next, Monday Night Football.
So here's my question: are we gonna do a Friday show to preview, and then maybe we should do
Right
a
after the
Monday
game.
recap right after the game?
That's what I'm hearing.
I
I'm hearing
think-
a Monday recap
I
right
think
after
we're going to
the
do
game.
a Friday preview show and then a Monday instant reaction.
Instant
I think-
reaction.
I think that's what's going to happen here. I think that's what we're about to do.
And who knows? I'm not saying it will happen, but there's always a possibility of an instant reaction, like right at Qualcomm. But I'm just saying,
Like
it's not
you
certain, but
you
it could happen.
you think about like how our thoughts are right after a Chargers game. Like we sit here, we take 24 hours to melt to think about it. Like, what kind of show could we have if we did an instant reaction?
We could be really angry. Could be
I
really
wonder.
sad.
I don't know. We could be really happy. We could be
We
like,
could break things with fans at Qualcomm. We don't know.
I don't know.
We'll find out.
Maybe a bar in PB wants to sponsor us for a live show. Who knows? I don't know.
We'll find out. Alrighty, guys. Well, this has been Bolt Banter, your boy Curtis Geffram. Thanks for tuning in.
This show is off the rails today. I love it. We're like a real radio show.
Real radio. No network. Off the rails as much as we can.
Off the rails. It's the internet.
It's the internet. Go follow us on Twitter at Bolt Banter. Like us on Facebook. And please, if you subscribe, I will shout out to you on this show. And I will send a thank you note to you on YouTube.
YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, audio. Listen to our beautiful voices while you're driving to work. Let us accompany you. We're a family-friendly show. You can drive the kids to school. Your kids can learn about the Chargers. You can learn about the Chargers. Everyone gets to learn.
What's
We're
better
a learning
than
show.
Chargers football? Not much, but we're right underneath that. So there you go.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
And then now your kids are going to know that Cam Chancellor ruined a bunch of fantasy football dreams tonight.
And Donald Brown is a troll. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to Bolt Banter.
That's recess talk right there. That's real recess talk. I love that.
See, I'm being family friendly. There we go.
It's good.
Example A. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to Bolt Banter. This is your boy Curtis Geffram and Kendrick. You can follow Kendrick on Twitter as well.
At Kendrick Luck.
Kendrick
Talking
Luck.
about sports, talking about video games, talking about that fun stuff.
Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. Like I said, we'd love it if you could subscribe to our YouTube page. And we will see you on Friday, where we will preview the Steelers game. All right, later, folks.
Hey, that NFL owners talk, it's happening. Get ready. Friday.
Get ready. It's coming.
Stay classy, San Diego.